Hello and welcome to the Hunt Banish Extract podcast, the podcast where the three members today have beaten Melania, Blade of Mikola, on Elden Ring. Come at us. I am your host, the Drunken Bard, aka DJ, and with me are two other beautiful co-hosts today, Sir Kaiser, aka Richard.
Yo, first try. Not first try, but I beat her. Strength build, hashtag.
I won't tell anybody. And the patron saint of 3 stars, aka Rat329.
The only game where I can be aggressive and not be punished.
Well, gentlemen, we've had a ton of announcements. We actually delayed the recording of this episode, and they just happened to bless us with a lot more. Like the trailer was released today. We've already known about the gun variations that they were actually adding, which we'll get to that. And it looks like there might be a very special character in the trailer. Care to elaborate?
My shield hath blessed us.
Well, do you care to elaborate, Rat? You're kind of the best on that.
I am 100% convinced that it's Lynch. Like, she's described specifically as having 3 things: white hair, black eyes, and always having a deck of tarot cards on her. Richard, I will fight you to the death on this.
What did I say earlier?
You said you're 100% convinced it's not, but I will fight to the death
Winky
on this.
Face.
That shit is Lynch.
I'm very on the fence because we are usually completely what's the word? They tend to deceive us on certain things, and I think they want us to think it's Lynch.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's my thought.
So if you go to the Hunt Showdown official website and stuff, they actually explain a little bit about the event in minor detail, and it was about the same time that the trailer released, and they said there was the Bruja skin. And then was it the Torch Welder or the Welder or something like that? And so it's definitely related to that voodoo stuff. So, I mean, you could say it's Lynch, but being such a main character to a main point of this story seems almost as if they should be to the side. Almost like Sherry,
Yeah,
maybe, but I don't know. I mean,
even give me my Lynch.
Even if she is the Bruja skin, she's been called a witch since the beginning of Hunt lore.
Well,
and Bruja just means witch.
Yeah, it just means witch. So essentially, that's why I'm thinking what they're going to do first and foremost is a Bruja skin, which is a witch. But we do have the voodoo characters already, Is it the Bone Doctor that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, Bone Doctor.
And a few of those others.
Weird Sister.
Weird Sister.
What was the most recent one? Mama something?
Mala. Lose Mala.
Lose Mala?
No. It was Mama something.
Not Mama.
She was just recent, and it was a Blood Bond Hunter.
Huh.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name.
But, isn't it the Skull Taker? That one kind of looks
no.
Those lines.
She had the word Mama in her name.
Yeah,
and it wasn't Mama May.
Rat will figure that out in just a moment. But yeah, it appears that Reddit is having a fight over the fact that they don't know if welding was technically much of a thing even in 1896, which is the current year that Hunt is in. And there's a lot of argument back and forth. Apparently, welding's been found as far back as the early 1800s. So,
if we look I'm still wondering. Well, to kind of add to that, if you look at history, the Industrial Revolution started in the late 1800s. So welding kind of makes sense as something that should be the case. I mean, I haven't looked into this. I can look into it. But welding, I imagine, started honestly long before that. I imagine. We are dealing with metals and stuff,
I just want to know. I just want to know how they're
Mhm.
going to be able to aim because I've looked through welding helmets
Yeah.
and those fucking things are so goddamn tinted
Well,
that there's
that's
no way in hell that they're going to be able to shoot accurately.
so we have a Pumpkin Man situation.
Dark sight.
Fortnite.
That's the only way. That's literally the only way.
About Fortnite. So the first thing, what was funny is that you have that welder. Immediately, your thought and my thought was PUBG. Like,
Yeah, like are we going to get a tool that's just a fucking cast iron pan?
yeah.
I want
like,
it. Like,
the
don't get me
skin
wrong.
looks
I would
that
use
way.
that.
I would too.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the skin, it looked so familiar to PUBG. I was worried about
Mhm.
another weird crossover or celebrity thing. I was like, please God. But it looks like
trailer.
from the
Yeah.
well, the
I
big
found
question
it's
is
the Night Mother.
the Night Mother. Yep. Yeah,
The
she
Night
was another
Mother.
great addition. And the number one question I have on my mind is why welders? Like, why welders specifically?
Because they're there to weld the bayou back together.
That's
Amend
fair,
the
actually.
breaks and the foundation that
Well-
Fifield start. I should stop blaming Fifield.
No. Think about it this way, because literally, this is also from the website. It talks about witches and stuff being the healers and stuff like that. And then it's talking about the witches and the healers and stuff like that. And then this other pact, the one that the welders are part of, they're meant to like mend everything together. Like
Okay.
these menders, these things that like healing and then building and stuff like that is meant to they actually have to fight back now. Like they're not just healing everybody, they're involved in the fighting. Is what the description on their website says.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm excited. The aesthetic of the whole event looks incredible. But it also
it looks like a return to form for Hunt lore.
Like the dark
which
green.
That's what we were hoping for all along. We wanted this whole return to the way that everything was and less of the whole like as much as the circus was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want more of a more rooted experience and more into the bayou, more into the corruption. And voodoo was a huge part of that. And that's why the witches is such an exciting part to add back in.
You can do it, lore team.
Well, before we get too much into the extras of the event, gentlemen, what have you been taking into the bayou?
Your mom.
Oh, you're going to lose every time then.
So I've been obviously still sticking with like I think I waited a couple weeks before I hopped back in after the event, but since that point I've still kind of stuck with the Chukano. But this last time I added a bomb lance to that, and then took some wax frags and really been practicing that arc and actually
made a clip of nearly killing me and Penguin in one sweep.
But that was with the double Chukanu, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was at extraction, and you shot a frag right between us. Damn near took us both out.
Penguin literally looked at me like, "Oh, what's that?" And then
Yeah, but apparently I was just bringing bad luck along with my regular loadout because I may or may not have given Warfinger and a new guy in our Discord PTSD because we kept getting absolutely fucking massacred at the same tower on the same map for 4 fucking matches in a row.
And man, anybody who plays the game with us, I wish you luck, but also we love to see you. So don't be afraid if you want to join our Discord. By the way, we have one. Come in, say hi, post your own clips. We're always welcome to it.
Great gameplay because there is a disclaimer whenever you start playing with me.
Don't walk
almost.
near a barrel, basically, is what he's telling you.
Well, yeah,
Right.
that or like as Sway was saying, like it wasn't all my fault. There was a dynamite team kill that was fantastic, but like we got into the match and Sway goes, "Before we get into these matches, I have to give you a disclaimer because you're going in with Rat."
In closed
He's like,
quarters.
yeah, and so he just gave him like this long disclaimer about how stealthy I am.
Very stealthy.
Well,
I'm
what
a
do you
master of
take?
stealth.
What have you been taking, though, Rat? Is
I
it only Lamats?
Yeah, just my usual Lamat carbine dually Lamats because I haven't played a ton since we last recorded because
It's
somebody
vanilla.
somebody got me hooked on Monster Hunter and I won't say who. But
they might be in this podcast right now.
perhaps he may have the
Well,
most
not
majestic mustache I've ever seen in my life.
well. They also have a goatee as well because I can't take full credit. I mean, it wasn't me as one of them that suggested something. Anyways.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, do you want to shoot a T-Rex with an anti-tank rifle?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I do."
No, it's
So
a
on the
joint
side,
effort.
on the side, we are definitely monster hunting. There is no doubt. I still have an addiction to hunt, so I am still constantly trying to run the martini. I don't know why. I have been shooting like absolute crap with it lately. But I did decide to give the crossbow Deadeye a try. It was a pretty good run until I tried to shoot people beyond like 50 meters. And then all of a sudden, every arrow was only tickling them and pissing me off. But then I decided to give my good old sidearm, the chain pistol, a match, and I got one hell of a clip with it and showed why the chain pistol is superior to the regular conversion. Because when you don't need to reload and you need more than 6 shots because you miss and you still need more shots like I do, it's guaranteed to do you some good. But
Indeed.
I'm bewildered by lately the amount of fucking sweat that keeps existing in the bayou without events, which we're going to get into that in a little bit because our audience has brought up about vanilla hunt and events. But specifically, I keep seeing like the same 7 people. I mean, when you're in a certain MMR, you're going to keep seeing them, right?
Well, then
I
you see them in 3-star MMRs because we'll go in and then we'll be like, "Hey, what were those teams like?" And it's nothing but 5 and 6 stars.
And it's yeah. And if you get one 6-star in your party, have fun. Anybody who's 4-star and below, I'm so fucking sorry. Even 5 stars, sometimes it's a total bloodbath.
So what's interesting to me about the MMR, they talk about filling in the gaps here and there. It's just kind of weird, like, because I had an average with a couple of, I think it was 3s and 4 stars type of thing. So we were an average of like 3.5 to 4. But we were seeing 6 stars. How does that
Constantly.
make sense, Because their average was, I think it was like a 6-star and a 4-star, and it was like an average of at least 5, maybe 5.5. And I was like, how is that even possible? Like,
Oh,
Sir,
player base.
I am a
but
3-star
there's
and
a
I will
big
go
enough.
in solo and it's nothing but 6 stars.
Yeah, it's and solo, doesn't it like kind of handicap you that way? Like
Yeah, I'm
basically it
supposed to be
lowers your
fighting
MMR.
I'm supposed to be fighting baby hunters.
Not good enough, I guess.
Not
It's
good enough.
They're like, "We know your true potential. Get your fucking ass back over."
Hey, I didn't play Hunt Showdown to go back to school.
we know you're meant for the 6-star lobbies, Rat. What's this nonsense about patrons saying to 3 stars?
Get the
Have
fuck
you
back
seen
in
my
there.
aim? That shit it's not 6-star level. Sway's
But
definitely seen my aim.
hey, it's
can
your
vouch.
tenacity. It's about tenacity. You and I are 6 stars at heart. Our aim has nothing to do with it, sir.
No, I'm a 3-star at heart.
No, you're 3 times 2 star. 3
I am,
star times 2.
I am the Huntlax. I speak for the threes.
Lax, you just shit out those other 3 stars.
Well, so guys, we have the brand new gun variations, if we can hardly call the 3 that they decided to add that, which
Laser
is
beams.
2 variations of a Mosin Obrez, the Obrez match and the Obrez Sharp Eye. Is that what the fuck they called it?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is Mosin Obrez with a buttstock. So is it 3 slot or is it 2 slot?
Oh.
And which one is more useless? Because we either fuck over the Obrez, the short one entirely, or the full Mosin is just better in every way. What the hell?
They were looking at the Obrez and they were like, hey guys, you know how we have precision variants of pistols? What if we gave this a precision variant, but we can't call it the precision? Yeah, they were like, but we can't call it the precision because we're just putting a stock on a short version of a thing.
So we steal it from the Bornheim, which makes even less sense? What the fuck are we smoking over there at headquarters? And can I have some?
Spanish flakes.
Spanish flakes. Sir, you're supposed to eat those, not snort them. Fifield over
Sugar's
there,
not
beer
sugar.
deep.
How
Beer
else
deep
are
in
you
the
gonna
Spanish flakes? Just
how else are you gonna get so high you can fuck the moon?
Clearly. So if they're 3 slots, they're inferior to, except for maybe the Sharp Eye. I could see a Deadeye scope on a shorter Mosin going pretty hard. But if we're talking about like just the Mosin match, as it's called, Mosin Obrez match, it's completely inferior to the regular Mosin in every single way. And then if it is 2 slot, well, Mosin Obrez, goodbye. And unless the price tag is ridiculous, then the Mosin match is going to be the prime choice. And then we get into our argument that we've had in previous episodes of why are we making every other variation type of certain weapons irrelevant? Like the Romero hatchet outclasses the regular Romero shorty, especially when it's only a $10 difference to have the melee variation on it. And then we get into the problem of the skins. And, you know, that sounds like a silly argument. Skins? Really? That's why you're arguing about a gun? Absolutely, because people spend money on those and they only fit on certain guns and the certain variation. And then if that variation sucks, well, if anybody liked those Obrez skins, fuck you, dude. Yeah. So
now hold on. I think I might have a thought.
I'm just kidding.
I think I might have a thought on what it is, because there was a Finnish variant of the Mosin Nagant that fired smaller caliber rounds.
So you think it might be?
It might be a medium
caliber?
ammo. Oh, yeah, it might be a medium ammo variant of the Obrez that has a stock.
I don't think so.
Is there any other weapon that does that? Has a different ammo type for like the same class?
I mean, the Lamat has the Lamat, and it fires long ammo, and all the other Lamats fire.
Well, that's only a couple guns out of there. You have the uppercut and the
inversion.
And
yeah, I'm just saying it would make sense if they're trying to come out with like a Deadeye scoped variant of the Obrez, but it fires medium ammo instead of long ammo.
I mean, that would
balance it more for sure, but
it would basically just be a short Vetterli, but you never know.
We don't need shorter scoped versions of things. We don't need more scopes. We don't need a lot of these things. Stop rounding out the whatever you call it.
I'm not saying what we need. I'm saying what they might have done.
They might have shat the bed, but
we might have hit the crack pipe one too many times and chose the Mosin, the gun of all guns that does not need more creativity, because I think it's already in a spot where it's healthy.
You can't improve upon perfection.
When they invented the Avtomat way back when, it was an idea, and then it turned out to be a very shitty idea for competition's sake. So, fuck that. Well, speaking of shitty ideas, we also have the Carbine 1865 getting a silencer. Why the fuck are we getting more silencers? Why are we getting any more silencers at all? I think we needed less. And this makes our idea of adding, scarce additions to the game even more prevalent, where you have to get like a workbench to get the silencer. And I am standing by it now, especially because if this continues, what the fuck is the point of Hunt? Sound is everything, and taking it away is a horrible idea. And we found that out because they are reverting the Lightfoot on the solos because they had no sound when they were crouching, which was a stupid fucking idea, Fifield, or whoever's doing it. I know I keep saying
Fifield.
Fifield.
You shut your whore mouth, Bard.
It's a horrible fucking idea. Solos should be just as balanced as regular players, period. Especially when they try to balance it with MMR. It's not perfect. No, it's far from perfect, but
it'll never be perfect, that's for sure.
So, what's your guys' thoughts on the new silencer?
Crap.
I think we need a rotating roster of weapons.
That's what I said billions of ages ago.
Yeah, it's starting to end up that way.
We have so many weapons in this game right now, and they keep adding more. I think they need to leave just like all the special ammo variants because nobody ever takes them. Like, how often do you actually see a Dolch or a Bomb Lance? Like, leave the basic shit, like the crossbow, the hunting bow.
Oh,
but like revolve the oversaturated weapons that are making other weapons irrelevant. And then for a week you have the Springfield, and then like the next week you have something else. I don't fucking know. Just get some of the weapons that are being added that are just making other weapons irrelevant and rotate them.
You're saying basically like keep stuff like the Bomb Lance and keep stuff like what's another very unique weapon? Romero, I guess, stuff that's like base Hunt you should almost always have, and then maybe sprinkle in those special weapons every so often and kind of rotate those.
So take all the weapons that were out before custom ammo happened. Keep them in the game, and then everything post custom ammo, have them on like a weekly revolution.
I would argue that things like the drilling need to stay around like all the time because it's so unique. Same with the Lamat and things like that. Anything that's got some sort of uniqueness to it, without a variation, I would say should stay type of thing.
Speaking of people I gave PTSD to, hi War.
Well, I completely disagree because if we take out these weapons that people constantly use, we're gonna get to a point of where, especially those people who are addicted to those certain guns, or they will only play this game for those certain guns, or they're overly competitive, we're gonna ostracize them. And this game has done a really good job of pushing those people, like anybody who's got a certain preference, out. And one thing that I wanted to bring up, and you guys are perfectly transitioning into, is we have reached a point of Hunt Showdown where expectations, they set them up to here, because when you have Post Malone of all people enter your game, I know his fucking name's never going to leave now. Sorry, guys.
Posty.
You get to a point of where it's like, wow, this event was so crazy. It had this and this and this, and we've got all these gun variations, and we've got a new in-map gun. Now, when you dial it back to events that are smaller, you have to realize that people are going to notice this kind of trend, and people are going to be underwhelmed by what you produce. Well, especially where you had layoffs at your studio after such an event, that's alarming to a lot of people, and they might back off from that game because they think that, well, this game's losing money, this game's losing player base, this game's losing relevance. And so they've put the bar so high for some reason. That's why past events were so good, is it was like a gradual drip. They slowly progressed the game in such a way that it made it really relevant to people and like, wow, it's got this now. And then they just tried to go all out, full send. And now we're in a position where this event seems underwhelming to people. Whereas this was almost identical to old hunt events. What do you guys think?
So something I guess I would kind of say is that, you know how we had like the circus like show up on every map and then be in a different place on every single map. That sort of stuff is stuff that I totally thought was in the right direction, but now that they've done it, I'm not. So that's what I was actually wondering about for this event. What visual changes are we going to see on the map? What type of things are we going to see that alter it to make it, that expectation that you were talking about is now even more elevated, because I was like, I knew you guys could do it, and now you did it. So now I've got this expectation, like you said. What's going to change?
Yeah, exactly. Especially where the trailer and the pictures that they've posted specifically show that all of these things have like, there's more overgrowth, there's more accentuated voodoo, like what's going to realistically be different on the map that's going to make it, I am in this event, right?
Well, yeah. I think that if I'm interpreting it correctly, and I kind of hope I am, because it's been something that I've been asking for a while, but so our perks are tarot cards. Like if you look at the artwork or any of that, they're basically just tarot cards that we keep
throughout the whole game. Yeah, agreed.
I'm thinking that based off of what happened in the trailer, we're going to have cursed traits. So like they give you something, but they take something away in return. Like
okay.
And maybe like one of the mechanics is you have to go and spend X number of pledge marks at one of the resupply stations to cleanse the curse on one of those perks, and then just get the benefit of the perk. But the only way to gain it in the first place is to pick it up at like one or two set areas, and you have to pick up a cursed trait.
I think it might have more to do. Well, are you not finished?
Oh no, you're good. I was just saying, like, I think that like maybe if the garden thing is an actual thing that they do, where there's like one spot that's overgrown, you might be able to pick up cursed traits off of like the trees or something like that.
Well, we know the wagon points are going to be different, and they'll be altered anyways. Every events they have like the new box that they put instead of with that particular pact, because this one it looked like it was going to be the witches and then the welder class. I don't remember what they're called, but it looked like those were going to be two of the pacts type thing. I think they're kind of sticking to that pact idea. And
the lions, the witches, and the welders.
Yeah, basically.
God damn it.
Can you imagine if they had like a guy with like a lion like skin over him? Got Craven in here. It's Craven time.
They could call him the Nemean.
I'm sorry.
Well, because I definitely think that those cards have more to do with Blademancer, Gunrunner, and oh hell, I can't remember the last one. Blast? Was it Blast Sense? Yeah. The more improved Blast Sense, where it's you can actually hear or see silenced weapons and bows and crossbows in Dark Sight now. And I'm a little bit on the fence about how they keep bringing back Gunrunner, because that implies that they might want the more advanced version of what is it called? The one that allows you to bring a 2-slot and a 3-slot. Help me out here. Quartermaster.
Quartermaster, yeah.
An improved Quartermaster is not needed. If Old Hunt told anything, it's that making old quartermaster be able to take 2 full slot guns was a huge mistake. It's beyond a mistake.
It's almost like that one event where they did let that happen was bad.
Well, and I get the sentiment of, wow, what could we experiment with full slot guns? But it always ends up toxic as shit. And unless we keep it exclusively to events, which if them adding traits to events has taught me anything, it's they're trying to make it permanent. Now, not all of them have turned out permanent, but
experimenting with guns is a lot like experimenting with sex. Eventually, you're going to go too far and you're going to regret it.
I regret nothing about my double nitros. You calm down, sir.
Oh god, double explosive nitro, the tank roll and throw the bayou.
That's what I totally did. And now I've got Chukanus, so now I don't need double explosive nitro. So I can fire explosives twice as fast. Not even twice.
I remember you walking through the fucking bayou with your $2,000 loadout just in guns, just blowing away the competition from 1,700 miles away. And of course, you played the most heavily armored looking character in the game, so you looked like a fucking tank. Because I think you were running around as the Burnt Marshal.
Oh, yeah. At some point, yeah. Or the Beast Hunter, who's Cyclops,
Unpopular opinion, but Blademancer being added back, at least it doesn't have the insane pullout damage. I like the concept of having something that takes your glitched blades out of a meathead that stole 2 of them miraculously because they're under his fat. But I also don't like that kind of thing makes it inconsequential to just chuck spears at people because the spear is so goddamn strong, or even bow arrows.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we need this kind of power creep, especially for tools or even certain guns. Sorry, quote unquote guns. I just said bow. Yeah, that's the one I meant. Because it makes it so much easier to wield things like that. And it takes away all of the downsides of having stuff like that, where it's really strong, but it's really situational. Because we figured that out when we did what was it? Like the fast fingers with the new guns, which is adding the martini, which is, I think, the most balanced, except for it's got explosives, so stay tuned. Let's see what the hell happens there. And the Maynard sniper, which
Kaiser?
the fucking Maynard sniper with bleed. Holy fucking shit, what a mistake. I don't know why that one was included at all.
I don't know why we're going on that bleed meta again. We've already seen how bad it is.
Well, it's also got the silencers, which have taken a 10% full nerf, which is around what they used to have, if I recall old Hunt correctly. Stay tuned. Hunt of the past.
Old Hunt, it was 15%.
Okay, so it was even more severe. And so I like that, especially since Maynard's silenced. It's still going to be strong. It's basically a Springfield hitting you with bleed, but quiet, so it's still not balanced. And I with other power creeps, I still feel like shit, like increasing the fire rate of certain things, like the fucking Spectre. It just didn't feel necessary. I thought they were fine the way they were, and making it even faster was already questionable. Power creep has to stop.
Yeah, stop power creeping Bard's pullout game.
Well, we don't need more guns that compete with the Dulce. We need to make a Dulce worse. You remember way back when we nerfed the Dulce's reload and then made it so that the Dulce also has insane recoil every time you fire a shot? That is what started to balance things. And they're like, we need to make everything else shoot faster. Yeah, let's make everything else way stronger.
We don't need stronger guns. We need the fucking lamp.
No.
Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, they are doing that. They're just hurting a gun that already has been beaten. And that's the Nitro.
That gun is taken out back and shot.
I like how they removed the fucking dum-dum from every gun, and then they were like, you know what? Drilling can keep it. We're just gonna leave it there on the drilling.
A gun that arguably shouldn't have it.
Though. I don't see it as much, like the drilling as much as I used to, though, when it first came out. I don't know what your guys' experiences with that.
But, like, my issue is that, like, medium ammo and up, if you're using dum-dum ammo, it immediately goes to intense bleed. And there's 3 levels of bleed. They could have had light bleed for light ammo, medium bleed for medium ammo, and intense bleed for heavy ammo. But they didn't do that. They decided all medium ammo across the board back during fucking Devil's Moon when they introduced the drilling needed to have intense bleed. And if you get hit with a drilling, you either stop bleed or die.
You want the truth about the drilling in Simon the Higher lobbies? I would say maybe 2 games I didn't say it. Maybe 2. There was no drilling.
It's got such a fast follow-up shot. There's no reason to take anything else.
Well, don't forget there's a mini version, and people prefer the mini version for the very reason that they take it like a baby Mosin. It's so strong.
Oh, let's also point out that it also has the baby version with the axe head, so you don't have to take a melee weapon.
This is very true.
Hell yeah.
We are getting to a certain point, Rat. You want to pull up the podcast poll and our audience comments while we are waiting here? But I'm extremely excited for the event. I love bringing back witches. Welders was like a kind of addition, but I'm willing to see what they've got.
Well, let's also bring up, while I'm pulling this up, Sway pointed something out. He said they definitely called them rare caravans. Does that mean we have regular and regular caravans and random spawns for the rare caravans, and what makes them rare? Like for this upcoming event?
Oh, absolutely. I'm curious to see.
To the circus, it could be something similar. Not to the scale, but like something similar, like a point where you go and pick up traits and whatnot. Kind of like how Mammon's Gulch had that place in the middle of the map with the traits you could and stuff you could pick up. Something like that.
Yeah. I would argue what makes them rare is how long they're on the grill, but
my health. So you got them?
Silly me.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So Mike Breckner says, the reason I like events in Hunt, at least right now, is the lobbies feel dead for me. Regular bounty hunt will have as low as 6 players in the lobby. Hell, I played a clash a couple weeks ago on the weekend, and one round had 5 solos, including me. And I would like to... They need to either do away with quick play or make it better, because I can't tell you how many games of quick play I have played where it's me and one guy.
Yeah,
I've done it on East and West. It's me and one other dude, maybe. I might spawn into the game and be just me, and then I just win.
I'm gonna say this.
I want to at least have something to shoot at.
Full agree.
I'm
absolutely full agree.
Right now, but I think quick play, or I guess Soul Survivor now, should implement teams. It
Absolutely.
Always should have had an option for teams.
Imagine trio quick play. That could be a lot of fun. I say could because holy shit, it could also be really bad.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not sure I'll ever touch quick play again because I killed someone and he killed me, and so I have a perfect KD at this point. So
you got a point.
Well,
but yeah, I like. There's been so many games now. I think at least 3 in the last month that I've played of quick play where it's just me and one guy, or Bounty Clash. It's me and like 2 other solos, which isn't as fun. Because I like going in with a group of people with explosive Chukanoos and 4 ammo boxes and just carpet bombing the compound.
Quick play just can't equivalent to having one compound, everybody guns blazing ready. It can't compete.
True that.
And it's funny because you can tell when the sweatier people are getting their asses kicked on East because they'll go to West because I'll actually have a full lobby.
True.
And it's all 6 stars.
West Coast struggles over here.
But then Worf says, as one of the minority vanilla enjoyers, we appreciate you. I read the poll question in 2 different ways. 1, if you had to pick only vanilla or event, which would you choose? Or 2, in the current system where you have both alternating, which do you prefer? My answer was for the former. If I could only have one, I'd pick vanilla every time. While events are usually fun, I agree they can feel cluttered and arcadey. I am so with him right here.
Yeah.
Give me vanilla hunt with like a 3-week event every couple months. That's all that I want. That's how it was for a while there. Like even 1 month feels too long sometimes. Because if they had it set up to where you could easily burn through the battle pass after a month, I would be so happy to have like 1 month event and then 3 months of regular. Just that's just dream right there.
Well,
go ahead, Richard.
Okay, I'll say it real quick. Something that I guess I'd kind of go along the way that I think I was chatting with someone about this, but essentially what I think would be kind of cool is that essentially you have event times and you have, your vanilla, but the difference is that as it kind of goes on, like things from the event kind of stick around, not like game changing things. I'm more talking about visual things and map changes, stuff that kind of like alternates. So like I think things should kind of stick around to some degree, more so like I said, visual things like the bear from the circus that should stick around in some manner. Like
please let Yogi and Boo Boo escape the circus.
Like there's so much work putting in these big events that it's like these things need to stay alive. Like you don't see Hellborn as much, you don't see Rotjaw as much, and it's just because they're limiting.
You see Rotjaw?
I saw a clue once, and then I died. No, we actually killed Rotjaw once somehow, somewhere over the rainbow, But what I'm trying to say is basically things like that aren't game changing too much should stick around. Like bosses and wild targets that you create should stick around in some manner. Like these are things that add to the game and make it so it creates that variety. If you're not going to change the maps themselves, at least give me things that make my experience kind of continually change.
Absolutely, dude. Like, how long did they hype up the fire weather event or the ash bloom weather or the rain weather? They hyped that up for so long. And then once the event was over,
it's gone.
It was gone. The rain was there for a little while, and then they updated the engine, and the rain was never to be seen again. They've got it in a basement tied up somewhere, along with the fire and the ash bloom.
So that's kind of my take. So
stuck around.
Well, but I'd like to hear what you have to say, Bard.
I'm going to have a mildly unpopular opinion because I think one of the biggest downsides to things that aren't vanilla hunt, because I completely understand where people are coming from when they say they like hunt events. I get it. There's something to look forward to. There's something to earn, especially since bloodbonds are mostly earnable through events. And a lot of the excitement comes from new releases, new guns, new skins, new potential enemies. Well, the main thing that comes with a lot of these events that these fucking developers keep putting in, and I'm sorry, I think this is the biggest downfall to events. And a lot of streamers and I think even content creators would disagree with me because all they keep saying is more ways to add bars, more ways to add bars. I think getting health bars back every fucking which way, every fucking event point, and people being able to recycle it on their whole team and everybody being able to stay at 150 health is a very toxic thing. I think it's incredibly boring when death is rarely punished because we have all of these different ways to earn back bars. We have all of these people who could just go and they could grab remedy because there's 3 remedies on the map during an event. I'm okay with it existing, but it's when it's everywhere. Everybody can grab it. Everybody's got all of these event points, and we can go get our bars back, go get it back in a flash, and continue this gunfight for the next fucking 20 minutes. I think it's really, really bogus when, and people would be like, well, then don't you have a problem with the health regeneration shot, like the one that regens a whole bar? No, because it costs a lot. It takes up a consumable slot, and if you only lost, say, like a 25 and you went down twice, well, you're only getting 25 health back, as opposed to something like remedy that just brings it all back. These events, I think, because we had issues in the past with stuff like being immune to fire and bleed and poison if you took a certain trait and then took an antidote shot. Immunities, or rather gaining everything back all at once, is fucking ridiculous. I think it makes the game a shell of what it's supposed to be, which is hardcore.
It's I guess that what it comes down to with like the bar back shot, or the ouch be gone is what I call it. But the ouch be gone shot, like, it costs a lot, and like it's balanced. It's relatively balanced, but when event hunt comes around, everything causes restoration, which gives you back all of your bars.
Mm-hmm.
Which
so like with the ouch be gone, it encourages you to take 3 big bars because you're more likely to get your 50 back, but you're only able to go down twice, which means that on that 3rd time of being picked up, your buddy has to burn off some of their health and they have to have the bounty.
Absolutely.
So it's balanced. And so it is punishing even if you use it. But event hunt, all you have to do is kill one guy, steal his pledge marks, or get however many points you get from looting him, and then go to fucking the first resupply that you can find and just buy the thing, and everybody gets restoration.
Well, let me give Crytek a pat on the back, though. Getting rid of res bolts and making them scarce. I know it's not perfect, but fucking thank God I've been seeing nothing but res bolts, and I'm about ready to tear my hair out.
Well, when they introduced them, I was pissed because they did all this work to get rid of Necro to the point where it was actually like a one-use thing. It's basically a consumable. And then they're like, hey guys, so we know we worked really hard to get rid of that trait because everybody hated it. Here's ammo that does the same thing, but more, and so goddamn fast that it's jarring to stand up.
Well, and it's really irritating, especially when you don't take a really broken loadout. I said that clip with my chain pistol. It would have been a clean team wipe if it wasn't for fucking goddamn res bolts. It would have been a really, really fun team wipe, except for I wiped the same people out twice. Every fucking member twice. It was ridiculous.
I will say it made for a lot of fun to piss people off, though, because you could go into the boss lair and just keep healing the boss.
That's true. There was a bug where you could heal the boss, and we found that out through Kaiser, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it was Kaiser that told me about it, and so I decided I was going to go and ruin everybody's day for like a week straight.
Hide in the corner.
And just took 2 I just took 2 hand crossbows with res bolts and kept shooting the boss every time he walked past a window.
And I like weird memey shit like res bolts, but it functions too well in a well-coordinated team. And I know the fucking guy over there, well, they're not overpowered in my lobbies. Well, not everybody's in your lobbies, buddy.
Yeah, what I will say, kind of to wrap that up, is basically it should just be in Bounty Clash. A lot of this crap should just be in Bounty Clash. Make it crazy. Make Bounty Clash this crazy mode. So...
it doesn't all need to be in one game mode, Crytek. You don't need to have it spread out across your whole game. Make exclusive shit. Hell, when I saw this shack that was in the the Witch's Forest or something like that. What's this new event called? And I saw that shack, the Garden of the Witch. Yeah. When I saw that shack, I thought, oh my God, make a Bounty Clash map and make it centered around this. Make a Bounty Clash exclusive map. What a perfect idea. But of course, alas, that doesn't seem to be in the announcements. So...
24-man bounty clash when, Crytek?
I am sorry. We do have one more comment from Kit.
Kit says, man, once that bolt thrower change comes in, forget any other ammo type on the bomb lance. Waxed frags is where it's at. Hit near them, they're bleeding. Don't worry, the second shot will kill them for sure. I am fully on your side, Martin. It is going to outclass the Chukanu in every way.
Wait, is it going on the bomb lance? I think I
vaguely
remember that.
Bolt thrower now works on bomb lance after this event comes out, and the bolt or it works on bomb lance and the bomb launcher. I think it's called.
Yeah,
I call it the yeet cannon.
Yes.
But yeah, so it'll work on the bomb lance and the yeet cannon, and you can just it throws shrapnel. Nothing is going to be better than the bomb lance.
Well, that basically kind of rounds out my new loadout, bomb lance and Chukunu. I'm all set now. I've already started. I'm ahead of the game. There we go.
Kaiser, we're gonna be terrorists in the bayou once this event hits.
But now we're gonna do it all over again.
I say that after giving Warfinger PTSD about one specific tower. I am sorry, Warfinger. I'll make it up to you, I promise.
Dude didn't get team killed by me at Extract, so it's okay.
We're rarely sorry. I mean, I have a lot to apologize for, none of which I will.
We all have our part in that situation.
So we unfortunately won't be able to get too much into, because we have some writings in our suggestion box that are starting to back up. We never anticipated this, but we also never anticipated having certain members missing, and also tight scheduling and yada yada. So I mean, we were lucky we even caught the announcements on this part.
Yeah,
but I will say,
we had enough time to do that.
Oh, for sure. Rat, do you have a subject that you thought of?
I was actually going to be bringing up the changes that we disliked.
Okay.
Like the things that we wish could be repealed. But we already pretty much talked about that, because my entire rant was going to be the revive bolts. and so we already went over my whole fucking topic.
Yeah, fuck you, revive bolts, even though I love you.
And I would specifically say power creep. I think power creep's getting out of control. I think when everything is great, nothing's great. And you could argue it's a perfect balance. It's a game where it doesn't matter what you choose, then you always have an equal opportunity. Well, that's not what Hunt was about. The point of Hunt was for the veterans to take over and assert with strong guns, a lot of money. And that's why when you head up to 6 stars, you see Dulces, Crowns, I'm not saying that those guns should be completely busted, but the fact that they try to make cost factor in at all as a balancing technique is a testament to how much they're failing in that regard. And I'm glad that stuff like Vulture exists to give people that upper hand if they want to take a trait in such a regard that they want to have people earn more money, especially when they're struggling, and the winning will guarantee that Vulture, or even if they play like a rat and come around and loot all the bodies with Witness, they'll get money and they'll have a better advantage next time.
Get my people's name out your fucking mouth.
But we're reaching a position where, especially, I'm hesitant to call it this because I think Bomb Lance is excellent and I'm looking forward to seeing it more. But with the waxed frags, that's what's going to make it so fucking scary. Is Bolt Thrower working on it? I think there was a reason they always didn't have that, especially since it's a waxed frag. It goes off in water or in choke bombs. That's going to be crazy.
Oh my god, Kaiser, new loadout idea. We're taking hand crossbow choke bolts and waxed frag bomb lance.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
Just fire the waxed frags through the choke clouds.
Well, time will tell if I'm wrong, because obviously they have a plan for the game, and I am only my opinion.
So here's, I think, the perfect example, and it only takes one trait to show the perfect example of the power creep. So the whole point of taking single shot weapons was that it was a high risk, high reward. If you're a good shot, you can get a headshot, move behind cover, reload, come back out and get another headshot. But they started coming out with more and more guns that would completely it just took that high risk, high reward and just gave it all reward, really no risk. They gave it multiple shots, high fire rate, all of that. So
You leave the
to
Chukinul alone.
in order to combat like all of these weapons becoming irrelevant, they decided to use fast fingers because now all of your single shot weapons basically have a 4-round magazine. So it took away that high risk, high reward. Now those weapons are all reward with very little risk. Like you still have to reload after every shot, but it's so fast you're basically not really having to take that risk.
Right.
Like it feels like everything that they're doing makes something else irrelevant. And so they have to come up with an idea to make those irrelevant things relevant again, rather than just not adding more shit that adds more power creep.
I will say though, them adding to where if you recruit a legendary hunter rather than them having 3 traits, to my understanding, maybe I'm incorrect, is they will come flat 0, no traits, but with 10 upgrade points to put in whatever you want. So theoretically, you could take the same hunter every single match. And I think 10 points is a good amount. Well, I would just take Doctor and Dauntless because what the fuck else would I need? You know?
Well, like if you look at it, at least last I understood, it was supposed to be they would still show up with 3 random traits, but if you refunded them all, you would get no more than 10 points.
I suppose
Like
we'll
a
see,
lemon
because I am
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, I may have
Wait and see.
misunderstood it, but last I could tell, it was like no legendary hunter will be worth more than 10 trait points.
Yeah, if it limits to
So
the
That would also be okay.
10, then that would be all right. 10 isn't terrible. Depending on what traits.
Right now, it ranges from 5 points to 17, depending on the roll.
Outrageous.
Well, I've got fanning, levering, and some other bullshit many times.
The fact that they put such expensive traits constantly on the roll was ridiculous, especially since I'm going to be real with you, and I would never condone, especially since I argued power creep, don't make fanning better. But the fact that levering is cheaper than fanning is ridiculous, considering levering is instantly better.
And that you can lever a fucking shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. And that shotgun is arguably the best shotgun if it has levering. Arguably.
You can't even fan the shotguns on the pistols that have shotguns with them.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, Lamat, you can fan a Lamat. You just can't. Like, once you swap it to shotgun, you get the one shot and you're either dead or. I don't give a. Give me 410 rounds. I will fucking fight you, Sway. How you gonna fan one shot? Yeah, give me 9 410s and a long ammo shot.
It's like, hold on, I'm reloading this shot. Hold on for the next one.
you get one long ammo shot in the middle and then 9 410 shotgun rounds.
Richard, what subject did you have for us?
All right, this one's kind of interesting. I thought about this the other day. All right, so one of the many things we have talked about throughout this wonderful journey on this podcast, a subject that keeps on coming back is the subject of monsters. So it got me thinking. We have a variety of bosses specifically, but what about our inner monsters and demons? So, if you were one of the monsters that the hunters had to hunt, banish, and extract, see what I did there? Extract your essence/token, what kind of new monster would you be, and how many tokens would you be worth? And describe it in as best you can.
I would be ogreish. I would be like a very bulky thing, like bulkier than the butcher, like big ass arms, like mangled ass teeth. Yeah, like Shrek, you know, and that you would fucking hear Smash Mouth, the ears start coming and they don't stop coming. Like as you know, you're entering my boss lair. But
they just do a 3D scan of you in real life and put it into the
I would
game.
have like a wind up attack where like my arm comes forward, and you know, like when the hunter gets knocked back by like the spider, like, you know, when they fall back, it would be like that, and your ass would slam into the wall for extra damage. And I would have like a poison breath attack where like you know, like my onion breath would like leak all over the floor.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
You're an all-star. Except you won't be when I'm done with you.
Hey, you better get your game on, you 6-star.
He would hit you so hard that you would hit the wall and your stars would shoot out of you like rings from Sonic.
Well, I actually think that like an ogre-like enemy, I know as funny as it sounds, would be incredible. So that's kind of what I'm envisioning. Is I would like to, you know, be the opposite of me, being lanky as shit and just be like a big tough troll.
So how many trait points would you be worth?
I would. Oh, you mean like would I be like a
how
wandering
much is your
boss?
Bounty worth? Yeah.
Well, I would say my bounty is worth. I would be like Hellborn, and I would be worth 1 token. And rather than, but I'm more special than Hellborn because it would be the blue trait rather than the red trait. So I would give you Shadow or Shadow Leap. Or,
He wouldn't be throwing fireballs at you. He'd hit you so hard that you would ignite, and that's how you lost bars.
Yeah. No, because I said I had a burp attack, right? Like onion breath. Well, I'd also have a fart attack, like a Conga Lala from fucking Monster Hunter Wilds.
$40 for the bar downty. Take it or leave it.
Well, it would be like I ate spicy Mexican food, so it would burn your bars off. Like I would literally have a fire wave come out of my ass.
You'd walk away with your face melting like the Nazi from fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Okay, I said mine. Your turn, right?
Okay. So we already have somebody like the assassin where he's made up out of nothing but bugs, right?
I think I know where you're going with
so they would call me the Pied Piper.
Of course.
And you'd hear music from across the building, and there'd be just this swarm of rats that turns into a person. And I would be worth either 3, 2, or 9 trait points.
2, 3, or 9.
Okay.
What's your reason?
Oh, wait, you said trait points, not bounty?
Yeah, trait points.
Oh shit. Well,
I see.
Okay. No, I stand by what I said. The 1 bounty token and the blue trait.
And then you would only know based on how many times the stars flash above my head when I get killed. Like you know how that like pulsate when they're banishing?
Yeah.
When you banish me, 3 stars appear above my head, and then they either flash 3, 2, or 9 times, and that's how many trait points you get.
So would you be at a bounty layer? Or, so both of you guys are kind of like wild targets, right?
Yeah. I would be the first wandering boss that actually like wanders around the whole map.
Wanders.
What about you, Richard?
I thought more about the question than actual like traits and whatnot, but I think another kind of reptile monster would be kind of great. But obviously with my fandom stuff, I would say a bipedal reptile, you know, and then with various spikes and whatnot, all sorts of stuff. And kind of what also made me think of this was like, you know, along the lines of this question specifically, like along the lines of like Monster Hunter, since they have such unique designs and whatnot. And I was thinking, like, what if something like that were in Hunt Showdown, but like more grotesque? And so, like with that reptile idea, it'd be kind of like it'd have like either fire breath or something like that, or you know, your generic, you know, kaiju of sorts. So,
okay,
with a shit ton of spikes.
Love it. Immediately love it just for that reason alone. Because, you know, with our girl taking a back seat, Rotjaw, I think we need something to fill that reptile gap because it's been feeling lonely. They made her worth a damn, and then they took her away. Mostly.
What was my comment about Old Yeller? Kind of like not Old Yeller, Rotjaw. That was Freudian. Was that the comment I made?
I'm sorry, princess.
Something along those lines. Good God.
They're treating Hellborn the same way. I think Hellborn should be on every freaking map. Doesn't matter. Every map, not just Mammon's Gulch.
No, wait.
No.
I think we need I think we need a different map specific boss for every map.
Yes, let's keep limiting ourselves.
No. I just think that would be neat. Hotbod's whole fucking lore is based in Mammon's Gulch.
But
with Rotjaw, it could have been.
Do you see Rotjaw?
It could have, with Rotjaw, it could have been in any of those maps. However, if she was only Lawson Delta specific, think of how often we see Lawson Delta. She would be there all the time. It just has to be a night map.
You know what? We should just make Rotjaw exclusive to DeSaul.
If we had Bard's fucking Dark or Elden Ring troll as a boss, and it was just Stillwater or DeSalle, because something like that.
You got my brain activated. I think I know why DeSalle might be taking a little longer. They might be adding hotbod spawns to it.
It would make sense. It looks like Utah. It may as well fucking be part of Colorado.
That must be why. So it's Rotjaw with 2 maps, Hotbod with 1, and then the shared map, and then they'll probably make another one with Hotbod exclusively, a 5th map. Maybe. I'm totally fucking...
I think that's reaching, but that sounds wonderful if it actually happens.
I hope so.
Or what I'm thinking might happen as well is if we have Hotbod for DeSalle and Mammon's Gulch, and we have Princess for Stillwater and Lawson, then maybe when they come out with another map, especially with what I can only assume is Lynch being in this new event, the last time we saw Lynch, she turned into a giant snake, and
then let's have
that was that was the last bit of lore that we got about her, so we would have a giant snake as a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how cool that could be. They could have a constrictor mechanic where it'll catch one of the hunters and start squeezing them. Their health will slowly start draining unless one of the other hunters start fighting it.
Well, it has to be not totally like that because of solos and whatnot. That'd be pretty OP towards solos. But it constricts a whole crap ton of health if it catches you.
Or as it's constricting you, you actually lose an entire bar of health.
Oh, it actually makes you lose it, permanently?
Yeah, it almost works like a burn mechanic to remove a bar. Because once you kill it, you get the bars back.
Yeah, but it'd have to be very specific towards that constricting thing. You would have to be able to see when it's going to do that, because if you're not able to dodge that and it's just automatic, that's kind of baloney if other hunters are just outside the boss lair. So
yeah,
I think that's a good idea. I would just add something a visual cue that it's get the fuck out or you're going to be constricted and you're losing a bar. But yeah, snake is a great addition.
Yeah, I think that if they're going to do something like that where it's one of the bosses is exclusive to 2 maps and another boss is exclusive to 2 maps, if they come out with another map, especially with Lynch coming back into the story, because I will die on this hill that is Lynch.
Or here's a better idea.
They could have a snake as a boss.
Here's a better idea. Just put all the bosses on every single map and make it a minimum of 2 bosses or a boss and a wild target. Because solo doesn't work anymore. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's okay. I would say for the sake of Hunt Showdown, I really hope Lynch is eventually revealed. I really hope that this is Lynch. but it remains to be seen. But I'm hopeful.
But what about Sherry, though? Like I would like a Sherry skin.
Cherry's fucking dead,
though. Well,
he was cutting his hands, though. We saw Sherry's hands, so why can't I have a skin?
That wasn't Cherry's hand. That's your hand.
Yeah, it's supposed to be your hand that you're cutting. You're sacrificing blood. If he's gone, the only time that we would get to see him is if he pops into the world of the living to talk shit to us like he was doing to the decayed daughter.
Half the characters in this game are fucking dead in the story, in the lore, right?
I was about to say, my boy Hawkshaw is dead, technically, so...
Yeah.
I still think that is one of the funniest things that they've done canonically, is that during, I want to say it was the Tide, like that whole Tide trilogy, basically, like, Chari was back, and he'd like pop in and be like, "Hey, you know you're a piece of shit, right?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, I know." And then he'd just fucking fuck off. He'd be gone. Like
he comes out of a fucking hole and then just and then slowly just drops down.
He would poke his head into the world just to like talk shit and belittle the decayed daughter, and then he'd just fuck off. He was gone.
He's like, "Hey, you over there?" She's like, "Yeah." Fuck you.
He'd be like, "Hey, you know it's kind of shitty to eat your mom, right?" And she was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Just wanted to make sure you know you're a horrible person," and then he'd leave.
And technically, the black coat was dead. Like he was just dead.
Yeah.
And then by the power of feminism, came back and decided to defend women's honor. You know, he just came back to life through,
And there was applause.
And then there's this other guy that like kind of hopped into our Discord and it's like, "Hey, have you guys heard about the guy that fucked the moon?"
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew it. And then he leaves.
He leaves.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But I do think, gentlemen, we are getting to that section. So I want to thank all of our honorary hunters. A cunning rogue. All of them.
That's a lot.
Cunning rogue. Big Monkey CNC. Call Me Roy. Drake. Element. Glonky Pete. Gumbo John. Hans. Hazmat. Jay Tizzle. Kit. Chris. Kugisaki. Mama Bear. Mimic. Our Father Gray. Penguin. Prez is Dead or Dr. Soda. And Sway. You guys are literally incredible. We appreciate you so much. Those of you who constantly come around, hang out with us. You know, we're always welcome to make that list longer, guys. Wink, wink. I don't mind reading more names.
Just come hang out.
Absolutely.
Put you in there.
And I would like to thank... yeah. I would like to thank all of you so much for listening to this episode. And as always...
live to fuck the moon another day.
Stay hunting.
It's over. It's ruined.
Everyone.
Delete it.
Delete it.
Whole episode's gone.
We're done. No more.
Rat, give us an outro.
I thought I just did.
It was a too early.
It was a solid victory.
You had to bring that bullshit back into my mind, didn't you?
Hunt of the past incoming.
Tommy Moondick approves of this solid victory.
You're the reason that Black Coat turned into a feminist, Rat.
Live to fuck the moon another day.
What about you, Richard? Any final thoughts?
I just want to say that I would welcome you guys as new bosses into my Hunt Showdown world, and I love them.
Get the fuck out of here, Craig. I'm kicking your ass out.
Get out of here, Craig, you piece of shit.